Hello everyone, welcome. Thank you for joining me. This is Lee with Lee's Trees. Today we're going to work on our wisteria. I picked this up back in November at a club meeting during our end of the year, a holiday dinner and auction. It was grown by a club member named Patty from seed. It's about 2 to 3 years old from what I understand. And this is my chosen front at the moment. And I'll give it a turn for you. And I'll turn it around to the right side, to the back, to the left side, and back to the front. I'm going to do a little bit of a trim on it today, a prune, not a little bit, I'm going to do quite a bit of a prune on it, and then repot it, get it into a nice bonsai pot. So hold on and we'll change the camera angle so you can see a little better. So I've never worked with a wisteria before, and I'm not quite sure what all these little tendrils are. I think they are pieces of the tree. And we have this piece growing up from the base of the trunk down in the soil level there. So I'm not going to cut it off right away. I'm going to wait until I start to do the repot to take that off. But right here we have a stub from where it was pruned before. So we can take that out. Let's see if we can take it down a little closer. There we go. Now there's a tiny little branch here I'm going to leave for the moment. And I see that I don't know if this is where an old bud was at one time or if that's a future bud. Hopefully it's a future one. But I'm going to leave this lower branch. And I'm going to take off this actually whole big one here. I'll come up to here and cut it off. I'll put a little rubber cement on that. I could probably wait and do several of these all at one time. So now let's move up the trunk a little here. Again, I've got an old stub in here I'm going to take off. I'm going to take this branch back. I'm going to leave it just above that bud. And I'm going to leave an area for dieback. But I don't want it to sprout back, so I am going to sort of scrape that bud off a little. So I don't want a branch here. And when I was trying to decide how I wanted to style this tree, I was looking at several pictures. And I know that wisteria often have a look similar to like a willow or weeping style, and that's my plan. And so it's going to come up and eventually come basically just to here, since that's my smallest taper. So I'm going to go ahead and take this one back to up here. And I'm going to take this one back. And that'll put all that energy into the main small leader piece. And like I said, that's my best taper. So let me go ahead and seal up those cuts. Put some rubber cement here. I still have plenty on my finger. Seal that up. Actually, I'll put a tiny bit right there. So again, now if we just take that out of the way, hopefully, well, you can't see the whole tree. I'll have to move the whole camera set up here. But real quick, so it looks like there might be a little bud piece here. Again, I don't want anything to sprout, so I'm just going to scrape that off. The same right there. And maybe another little one here. And as it sprouts, I could always not scrape it back. And that way, again, all my energy is going to go to the main tip there. Okay, so now let's get set up to put it in a bonsai pot. As you see, I've set up for some dirty work here. I've got a few weeds on top right there we'll pull off. So let's see what this looks like in here. Yep. I believe she has this rooted in a really nice soil blend. So there's no reason not to reuse it that I can see yet. Oh, there are a couple roots coming out the bottom. Yeah, okay. Oh. Looks like she was using the drywall screen to cover the holes in the pot. Not sure if that's a piece of wire or not. I don't know if it was tied in or not. We'll have to figure that out here in a bit. It's an actual piece of drainage screen there. Maybe that's what the wire went to. Okay, so it turns out that this comes off the main root base there. So let's go ahead and take it off and get it out of the way. It's got another feeder root piece going down. Let's see if we can set that to the side. Oh, I wish I'd left more of a stump on that. I wasn't thinking. I should have left more for dieback. Hopefully it won't kill the whole tree off. Just in case right away, let's go ahead and get it sealed up. Alright, see now I'm starting to get down to some of the main original roots in the top of the root base there. Alright, starting to get where we want to get to. We have got a large amount of the soil out of there. I think it's just about bare rooted, so now we have to start trimming the roots. So there's a big root up top here. We'll start at the top, removing some until we can get down to a good root base. Get some of these smaller ones out of the way. Now we'll take off a bigger root here. And after watching Nigel Saunders' videos on his wisteria that he's repotted a few different times, I haven't noticed that with roots that you need to leave a dieback stub like you do with the branches. So that's why I'm not too worried about taking that one back to the base there, unlike that little branch piece there. Now this root is going sideways, so it needs to come off. And so does that one little fat potato root underneath of it. They're not going a good direction. I have this one great big one up top here that it can come off. So let me do this in a couple of stages here. And now I can come in and take the big piece off. So this root's going straight down, almost. Got a little few smaller ones here. So the root was again going straight down along the trunk there. I probably should have. That little one off, and again this one's crossing over, take it off. There's some little ones up top. So now there's a great big potato root piece in the back here I'm going to take off, and I'm going to leave that one right there as my main starting root at the moment. I don't see a reason to remove it yet, but this one is almost growing at an upward angle, so it definitely has to come off. It's got some other pieces that are going to grow at different angles. And that's almost going upwards. Okay. So now, let's break them out, and actually, just in case, so I know wisterias don't like to be dry, so just in case, so I'm going to make that my soil line. So everything above that pretty much needs to come off. Now, so I've got a great big root under here that circles around. So let's start with the base of the tree. And that might be the original taproot. Okay, so there's a big root here that makes an odd curve. There's the two. I don't know that I need that much of a trunk base, so I might go ahead and just cut it off. Well, let's start, yeah, we'll start right there. Well, that certainly cleaned it up a bit. So now we have these roots that are circling around, but there's other smaller feeder roots coming off there. That one's making a twist in there. We can take that off. All right, that piece is coming at an upward angle, so I'm going to take it off. So let's just clean that up. Alright, so this root comes out somewhat radially, but there's another larger piece in here underneath of this one that I'm going to take off. Clean that up. Okay, so I want to keep those couple, but this piece, oh, okay, it comes all the way from back over there. So there's a little piece on it that might be savable, so let's take it to there. So now again, this is going at an upward slope. That one's going upwards. I think that's about it. I think we're good. There's a couple roots on top of this one. That'll probably be the last of it. But we're going to keep that. And now we'll get it into a bonsai pot. Giving them a spritz might not be the greatest thing at the moment, but I wanted to keep the little bit of roots damp. I am going to take a moment and seal the big wound on the bottom, even though I did just dampen it. We'll try to put some rubber cement on it and some of these others just in case. Now the pot that I've chosen is a Japanese pot. It is not signed or marked. It's a factory style pot, but it is this really nice cream color here. Really nice, beautiful cream. There is, other than now it's got dirty fingers, there's one little spot on the back here that the glaze, it had a little dimple on it and the glaze got rubbed off. But if you look at it here, it's on the back side there. So I'm going to use this as the front of my pot. So just get a little piece of wire here to tie the tree in. As I said, I believe that she had this planted in that, I think it's called Oki blend, AOKI. There's no reason not to reuse it and save on soil. Not that I need to save on soil. It doesn't hurt. Set it to the side, off to the left side there a little. Bring my wires over, and then that brings my front or my top of the apex of the tree right up top there. Push some of the roots down in there. Let me now give that a little bit of a twist. Hold on. There we go. That stood it up a little bit better. Now, where's my little wire tie right there? And now let me see if I can just put another turn or two. That feels better. Again, some of this is roots that come out of the pot there. Even though there's not any roots over here this far out, I am just going to try to pack the soil in just a tiny bit. Just tamp it down a little. Get it down along the edges really well. I know there is a little root over there. Make sure that gets good and packed in. Alright, there we are. And I'll give you a final turn of it here in just a moment. However, before we give the final turn of this, I did keep these cuttings, a few pieces of wire there. And I'm not sure what those were. But I do have these cuttings. I was going to try and do an experiment. So I have here, this is Miracle Grow potting mix, indoor potting mix, straight perlite, and this is equal parts perlite and cocoa core. I've got my rooting hormone right here. I'm just going to put a tiny bit, oop, don't breathe that in. A little clean cap there. I'm going to set this one with that tiny root off to the side because I don't want it to affect my experiment. And I've got a tiny little wire brush here. I just want to rough up the cut point there a little bit. Put some rooting hormone on it. Make us a little hole. Stick it in there. Now this one piece here, I think I can get at least 2 more cuttings out of it. I'm going to take that little piece off. If we take this off here, take that little bud off right there. There's a node there. Maybe, I don't know if that was a good idea or not, but let's see what happens. I think that might end up working better, just to fill the hole with the rooting hormone. And pack that in there. Got these last couple pieces here. I've never tried using straight perlite as a rooting medium before, so I'm not sure how that's going to work. And I don't know if all of that's going to want to grow, so just in case, I'll cut it back a little. And all this was pre-dampened. And since we have a little bit of rooting hormone on the top there, well, I'll be putting these in the greenhouse to keep them protected, and I will be misting them every single day. I found that really helps with getting things to root. And I'm not sure what these were. They may or may not be maple seedlings or something. I'm not 100% sure, but I'm not going to worry with it. So I'm just going to get rid of those. Oops, careful. And I will take this outside when I take the main pot out here in a few moments, and I'll put that in some soil somewhere and see what happens with it. I've got that extra rooting hormone to take care of it. So now back to the main tree. And here we are with our final look of our tree. Here's our front. Going back to the right side. Back to the back, to the left side, and to the front. And like I say, hopefully we'll get a bud to sprout from over here somewhere to give us a little offset branch from our main canopy, at which point we'll get rid of this one down here. But for right now, actually let me turn it back. There we go. There's the front of our tree, of our wisteria. I'm going to put it out on the bench. I'll put some the water wicking cord on it to keep it hydrated. Hello everyone, welcome, and may the 4th be with you. It's May 4th. It's about 6 weeks or a month and a half after we worked on our wisteria here, and as you can see, it's growing really nicely, really wonderful. I've got, some growth on this bottom sacrifice branch. There is a tiny little bud in here on the back side. We'll show you here, to the right side, to the back. It's hard to see, there is one little bud there. To the left side, back to the front. I do have a few little holes here. I'm not sure what's eating the leaves. It's not terribly bad. It's not every single leaf on every single thing. I've looked it over and I'm not sure what it is, but I might give it a spray with some soap and water here in a little bit. I just wanted to give you a quick update since we did our repotting on it. I put this stone in here to help keep it a little more stable in the pot, and held it a little more upright there. And I also wanted to take a moment while I've got it here and see if I can reduce these stubs down any. So I'm going to bring it a little closer to us. And where this old stub was, I want to see if I can snip that. So that's still a little bit green, so I'll put some more rubber cement on that in a moment. I want to take this one down another little bit. That's still a bit green, so it needs to dry more. And that one, let's see. Yep, that one's a little bit green as well. Where'd that piece go? Yeah, it's still got a, it's not very vibrant green. And then there's another little stubby piece up in here. I'm going to see if I can take it back a tiny bit more. And, yep, again, just the tiniest little bit of green, but I think it's slowly drying back. Like I said, I'll put some rubber cement on those here in a few moments. And there's one spot I was noticing the other day. I've got a branch, right in here. It might be hard to see, but there's a branch piece that is starting here and coming up through the two of those, or a leaf, actually, not a branch, a leaf. And it's sort of crossing over everything, and so I wanted to take that one out in there, and that was going straight up and crossing over. And that's pretty much it that I plan to do with this tree. Just let it grow for the rest of the year. Like I said, I'll put a little soap and water on it in a little bit, and I'll put some rubber cement on these. I did recently just break off the branch piece here to try to give that bud a little bit more light, and hopefully it'll start to grow a little bit better. Or maybe we'll get a bud to shoot from out here, hopefully. But like I said, that's our wisteria that we repotted a few months ago, or a month and a half ago. And just wanted to give you the update on the full video. And here's just a quick update of our cuttings that we made from our wisteria. This first one, it actually leafed out really wonderfully and was doing great. And all of a sudden it started to wither, even though I've been misting them every single day. This one, did the same thing. This one did, but then it started to come back. Same with this one. And there's a tiny bit of green left on this one little shoot piece right there. So I do have them in just the tiniest bit of sun in the late afternoon, but other than that, they're pretty much in shade all day. But that's our quick update with the wisteria cuttings. Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe.